What is going on, everyone? Hope you guys are all doing well. Let me just turn my camera on. What is going on, everyone? All right. Let's get into it. All right, guys. Hope you guys are all doing well. All right. So lots to talk about today. We got stopped out of our USD CHF trade. All right. So this came up to the 21 EMA where we were trailing our stop loss. All right. So that stopped us out, which is fine. It is what it is, but we are now getting another A2 signal present. We also got stopped out on our oil trade where price came up and stopped us out as a 21 EMA. Now, I've already joined, I've already come back in with another position on the A2 here. All right. So I'm back in oil. I have my entry. Let me bring up my entry so you guys can see the account history we got stopped out of. Let me just make sure this is in the correct date. Yeah, so I paced out of the trade on USD CHF, US oil as well. This isn't in date. 1 second, guys. There we go. 22nd, 20. There we go. Yeah. So USD CHF, we paced out of Euro USD, so we are taking profits along the way. And US oil, there it is. And AED NZ, that was from last year. These aren't actually quite adding up, but I'll look at that in a minute. So yeah, you can see our oil trade. We got back in. These are the current trades we have active. So we have an open P&L of just over 0.1%, and a few negative positions. So we're going to talk about those and if we're going to do any trade management going forward with that. So we're negative on GU still, which I'm holding from earlier this year. We have a position on Euro NZD, which is in profit. Aussie JPY in drawdown, Euro USD way in profit. And the Aussie 200, which was a trade we were talking about yesterday. CPI news came in, which was greater than forecast, which is better for currency. So it pushed the markets up. Nothing really happened during the Asia session. It was more of the volume and activity came in during London and New York, which typical, bigger markets. So looking at all that, our AU 200 trade just completely going directly against us. I only had 0.05% of my account value on this trade because it wasn't a trade I was 100% confident in. You know, there was a few significant levels, but you know, overall, like I said, I'm bullish on this market. Short-term bearish, and it looks like the news kind of lined up against us in this scenario, which is completely fine. It is what it is. I'm not going to, you know, maybe we'll close this trade. We'll do some further analysis to find any other areas of resistance where we could see price kind of make its way further down. But you know, the 1 hour has it the clearest, where we had this kind of double top scenario here where price came up, kind of pulled back a little bit. We then came up to retest those highs. We never created a new high. We got rejected, creating a new low. And now we've come up, we've broke past that resistance, now turned support, we retested it. And this would have been a great intraday trade on the Aussie 200. So as this starts to pull up after rejection, you get this bullish engulfing candle. So these two candle formation off the 8 EMA, and price just kind of continues in that direction. Looking at the TDI indicator as well on the 1 hour, just bullish in the buy zone. So yeah, that is that. So what I might do with this trade, guys, the daily 8 and 21 have upshifted. So come 9 o'clock, so in another 21 minutes, when this market closes, we'll make a trading decision. We might just close the trade. Euro USD. Now, Euro USD is an interesting one. So trailing our stop up here at the 21, it's well in the profit. We're up just, yeah, about 2R. Let's just call it 2R. If we jump down to the 4 hour time frame, price is just slowly kind of creating this flag. Now, there is obviously a lot of resistance up at that area. So if I go back to the daily, you guys can see, looking left, there is this nice little zone up here. All right, this zone, price hasn't tested this zone since June 22, so June last year. So it's a significant level where price kind of broke through that resistance and then retested it, and then has come off it. So once again, I think I'm not gonna close this trade. I might secure some more partials, another 20%, and just keep trailing that stop loss at the 21 because it's in profit, so it's all good. GU is another interesting one. We haven't really gone too far out of bounds on our trade here. Now, looking at the 4 hour chart, we actually got an A2 signal on the 4 hour, and looking left, I still feel like this is trading an area of resistance where a lot of sellers may step in. So what I'm looking at is on the 1 hour, you can see how price is kind of creating this downwards channel where we had this massive extension up. I'm going to say probably because of news, and we've found a lot of resistance at this level, and price is just slowly coming back down. I will say we have tested the level of, let's just call it 1.2100. All right. So you can see price has come down, tested it, rejected off it, retested it, rejected, and retested. Now price did actually create a lower low here, and now it looks like price is creating lower highs. Well, it has been creating lower highs. So you can see lower highs, lower highs, lower highs as price comes down. All right. Just like that. So we could see obviously a lot of buyers in this general area. So it's just something we'll keep in mind. On the daily, yeah, so we just have to see what happens. I'm not going to manage this trade too much just yet. Once again, I had very small position on GU, so nothing to worry about too much there. See ya. USD CHF on the daily. Once this candle closes, guys, we will probably, potentially, maybe get ourselves back in for another position here. All right. So the reason I'm saying that, I'm overall bearish. Prices extended down, pulled back, and we've just been creating these lower lows, lower highs, and we tried to break higher, and then we came lower. So we'll go in a bit more in-depth analysis on USD CHF to see if we will get involved on this A2 signal. But other than that, I've gone through the market, guys. Nothing else has presented across all the majors and minors. The only things that have presented is NZD JPY. All right, so this has just been trading within a channel, testing the highs, testing the lows, and kind of just bouncing off those two zones. All right, so I think looking at most recent price action, if I was to zoom right in here, and if I was to show you this chart, would you say it's bearish or bullish? To me, I'm going to say short term, it's bearish. You got the 50 EMA on top, followed by the 21 and 8. You got price creating lower lows and lower highs. All right, and now we're retesting this previous level of the previous lower high. Okay, so, and we're getting an A2 signal. I don't know if that's going to be a valid signal in the next 17 minutes. If market pushes down, then this signal will disappear and it won't be valid, which means we cannot take advantage of that. A good thing about this setup here as well, guys, is if we were to take this trade, right? So using that level of structure, let's just take in this whole little bit of data here. We would have to draw our stop loss. So using our trend-based fib extension from the low to where the signal presented back down to the low. This gives us a stop loss at 86.632. All right, so it's way up out of here, out of sight, and out of where price is easily to retest. Okay, so that would be our stop loss. And we can easily get 1R within recent price action if price were to come back down. So this will probably be a trade I will put some money on. And then obviously Euro NZD, we're still in this trade. We are bullish on Euro NZD. So I think there might be a bit of correlation risk here to go long on NZD JPY, but also go long on Euro NZD. That makes sense. Nothing on GCHF, nothing on Aussie Swiss, nothing on Euro Swiss. Yeah. So we did talk about this. I've been talking about this all week. So all of these signals that presented, guys, if we bring up the TDI indicator, so the yellow line there, market sentiment has been above the 50 value, and it's just been bullish since last year, since November last year. You've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opportunities to get involved. If you were to take this first opportunity just here, right, depending how you manage your trade, obviously you suffer a bit of drawdown, but it never hits your stop loss. All right, you would be up about 2.5 R now on this trade. If you were to take the most recent signal that presented, so this one here, you would take your trend-based fib extension from the high here to the low where the signal presented. You don't suffer nearly as much drawdown, and you get this nice rally, and you'd be up just on 2R now within 4 days. So obviously there's been some nice Euro news or something that's obviously come out to push Euro with higher, which is awesome. And then we're looking at Aussie CAD. Nothing's presented on Aussie CAD, GBP CAD, nothing, and Euro CAD. Just a markup I am keeping, just tracking. Bitcoin, nothing too crazy yet. There's a bit of volume coming into Bitcoin, which I really like. But yeah, nothing too crazy there. And then oil, of course. So we are short oil again. You can see my analysis on oil where we have this trend line. So long term, I'm bearish. All right. So I want to try and be following that trend as much as possible. I don't want to be fighting it. I don't want to be taking counter trend moves. Just have patience and wait for a signal to present in the overall direction of the market. So as price is creating this trend line, you can see we test the trend line once here and we test it again over here. Overall price is making lower lows, lower highs. We did push higher up here, but we created a double top. So price retested this higher high over here, but it could not put in a new high, which tells me sellers buyers couldn't take control, sellers set back in and pushed price lower. We then have these two resistance points, so points of structure that are very interesting. So as price came down to this level, we had a lot of buying activities. A lot of buyers stepped in, or a lot of sellers took profit at this level because there is some significance to it. We don't know exactly what. I mean, we could go back in historic data and we can see a very nice level back in 21, in July 21, where price kind of rallied up to that level of $76 and came off it. And then there's a little bit of trading activity around that level. So as prices come back down here, we've seen buyers step in, try and push price higher, but sellers were too strong. So we then pushed all the way lower. We found some resistance between these 2 points, 1 and 2, where price traded between them. So we had price rally down, kind of consolidate a little bit, retest the zones, break through it, use it as resistance, come back, break it, use that, then break it again. So there is a lot of trading activity going around these two levels that can be significant. And if we can obviously time ourselves, be patient, and position ourselves on the right side of the market, I reckon we could see a nice push down back to $70 on oil. Of course, with oil and CAD, better Canadian dollars, there's a lot of fundamentals that play into this. All right. Simply a hurricane over the ocean that affects one of the oil rigs can have a dramatic price on oil. Contracts, deals, futures, anything like that can always impact. So there is a fundamental bias behind this. I'm a technical trader, so I actually don't know any fundamentals that is happening. That is something I'm working on for futures and currencies, to try and understand the fundamentals a little bit. As I'm on a higher time frame, if I can line up my fundamentals with my technicals, so when I get a signal to enter the market, if the fundamentals line up on top of the technicals, because I can hold these trades instead of scalping or day trading, so I'm in and out within a few hours, I can hold these trades for potentially weeks and months, and I can capture a really big move. So if I can position myself correctly, like I was saying, and lining up both technicals and fundamentals, I can see some really nice moves on this. So like I said, guys, I'm back in oil. All right. So coming back to my broker, I'll actually get the price I'm in. So 77.575 was my entry price. So 77575. 77575. All right. And like I said, I can easily get 1R to the lows here. And what I've done is I put my stop loss way up here. So this isn't really using the 1.618 trend-based fib. I have essentially just kind of, I've just used that to get a rough estimate. But if I were to use the trend-based fib from low to high here to where the signal presented, I don't like that stop loss. Yeah, okay, it's a tighter stop loss and give me better risk to reward, but the chances of this being stopped, especially if some bullish momentum comes in through fundamentals, then I don't want my stop loss there. All right, I'd rather give it a bit of breathing room. I even tried to use this low to the signal, a better stop loss, but it's still within that path of where price can easily test. I want I need my stop loss to be above the most recent high up here. All right, that way it's harder for price to come back here, and my stop loss is more protected in that area. So yeah, we're going to see how this plays out on gold, guys. We could potentially see a bullish rally still, but it all comes down to, obviously a bit more on fundamentals, I think. NZD JPY was the next one we're looking at, guys. So let's get rid of this channel to clear up the chart a little bit. And I like where it's trading at. Let's do a bit more in-depth analysis. We got about 9 minutes left for the new candle, daily candle closes. So yeah, on the 12-hour, you can see price creating lower lows, lower highs, retesting that level. I like it. On the 4-hour, same sort of thing. Price pushes down, right? Creates a lower low, lower high, lower lows. And then we kind of get this little bit of chop in between, okay? So this level up here is a very good level to potentially get short. I can obviously get a much better stop loss if I were to come on the lower lower time frames and find an entry, but I'm specifically and primarily taking my entries off the daily time frame. And then the 1 hour, of course, trends within trends within trends when you drop down to a lower time frame. The overall trend is which I'm focused on. And even though this is bullish, it's bullish consolidation. Like, you don't want to look at this chart and say it's going sideways. In theory, yes, it is going sideways, but it's creating kind of higher highs and higher lows as price comes in. So if you just simply look at this massive extension to the upside, that's your higher high, higher lows. Price created a new higher high, higher low. Price creates a new higher high, higher low. All right, so the trend is very weak. All right, and I guess you could classify this as consolidation, depending how you want to put it. But I want to put my emphasis on more of a recent price action, and I want to see what has the last, what has the last month been doing, and looking at the EMAs to give us more confluence. If we can retest the 50 EMA, get a nice rejection off it, that'll be great. You got the 8 and 21 went into a downshift on this massive bearish bar just there. So a few things are lining up in my favor. If we were to check out the weekly, it's just kind of like this massive flag pattern happening where it's just testing the highs, testing the lows. All right. I'm getting short within this here. You can see the 8 and 21 have shifted, downshifted on the weekly as well, which is another area of confluence I like. Once again, drawing our channel. So we'll use the wicks and then drawing that down to the bottom wicks. All right. So it's just trading in this channel. All right. Excuse me. So we'll just see where that ends up going. Why don't let's check the monthly. Yeah. Call it consolidation, call it chop, call it whatever you want. But recent price action, I am more bearish than anything. So when this candle closes, we may potentially not even get a signal. Like I said, if price continues to move downwards, lower, then we'll lose our signal and it won't be valid. All right. What else were we looking at? Oh yeah, I think we'll close our Aussie 200 trade. That's just going way against us, and I think we'll keep our AUD JPY trade. We're going to keep open because it's testing the daily 50 exponential moving average. All right, so as price tests the 50 EMA here, it's testing a previous resistance turned support zone now. So support turned resistance, sorry. And it's tested this area once, twice, 3 times. So it's a strong level of resistance. And looking further left, you've got 4, 5 times it's tested it. All right, so this is a strong level to be potentially selling the Australian dollar against the Japanese yen. Once again, on the weekly as well, just strong bearish momentum coming in, lots of selling pressure, all right, and also lots of buying pressure. So I think it just comes down to fundamentals maybe potentially lining up, and obviously getting a lot of selling orders to push this in our favor. But other than the entries that I just talked about, guys, we are back in oil and we could potentially be in NZD JPY. All right. So we got about another 5 minutes left before market closes and then reopens on the daily. I'm going to quickly go get myself a drink. So I'll be right back. Guys, give me 2 seconds. $1 back. All right, cool. So 2 minutes, 30 seconds left, and we're just going to have to obviously see what's going to happen here. But yeah, so definitely closing this trade. No need to hang on to it, I don't think. Yeah, lots of bullish momentum coming in here. You know, I'm just going to close it now. For a $26 loss, which is a 0.03, just say 0.02. Why can't I close that? Of course, the market is closed. So I'll do that later. So obviously with the Aussie indices, they don't open till 10 a.m. local time, I believe. Let me just double check that. I'm sure you'll see a gap here somewhere. $9 a.m. sorry. So they're currently closed. I could actually be wrong on that though. All right, so the indices close at 7:45 a.m. and then they reopen at 9:45 a.m. So they closed from 8. So they closed for 2 hours. So yeah, so 10 a.m. my time, I'll close that trade. So obviously I won't be live streaming at that time. But yeah, it's just crazy momentum on that, eh? Like this would have been a very good, like if anyone was looking at this on the day trading time frame on the 15-minute and you decided to take this A2 signal after the 1 hour, break that resistance and then turn support. So if I just highlight this in a circle, right? So this little area over here, hang on. We go back to the 15-minute. You guys can see we got the A2 within that range. So this is the retest of that. If you used the, let me just hide this. So if you were to use the trend-based fib, so the default fib from high to the entry back to the high, oh, you would have been stopped out. You would have in fact been stopped out on that trade on the lower time frame, using the 1.618. And this is why I like having a stop loss below structure. As you can see, that was a deep pullback where price pulled back in here. So if you were to obviously, excuse me, let's have a look at the 30-minute. So we actually didn't get a signal on the 30-minute either. And we'll check the 1 hour. Yes, the price obviously didn't pull back deep enough to test that 21 EMA for a signal. But, you know, if you're a price action trader, there's always opportunities and different ways to get involved. For me, I'm just focusing on these A2 signals. All right, cool. Bring this back. Yeah, sweet. And then obviously Euro USD. Like I said, I might just take a bit more partials off this trade and see where it goes. CPI, US CPI news is coming out. That's that's a big event. Aussie JPY, not going to touch it just yet. I like the level it's coming off. Euro NZD, same thing. Not going to touch these trades just yet. All right. And then obviously we've got oil at 4%. So that's a very nice gain. But this is, I've done a bit of intense analysis on this one. Well, I wouldn't say intense, but just a little bit in-depth analysis where I've just gone because, I don't know, I just feel like oil, I'm very bearish on oil. Even on the weekly, you know, price is just really just coming off this level. And if I drag this left, you know, I just love the level oil's coming off at that 78.83 level. So yeah, let's see what happens here. Be very interesting to see how this reacts off this A2 signal. I like my stop loss placement. I know it's not the best risk to reward. I'd need to get oil down to $70 just to hit 1R. But I'm happy with that. All right, cool. So markets have closed and potentially opened. We'll wait till about 5 past for my brokerage to open back up as well. And it looks like we potentially have a valid signal here, guys. Yeah, we'll just see what happens. I think I have NZD JPY on my chart, so. Alright, so what we're looking at here is obviously we don't get the signal on my brokerage, but I chart and do my analysis on TradingView. So this is Awanda. So if I was to open up a NZD JPY on 8cap, which is the brokerage I'm trading with, you'll see that there is in fact no signal that presented. All right, if I add this to my trading watch list and then just bring it up underneath here, you will see how they're priced in a little bit different. All right, so if you look at the price, 84.26 and 84.35. If you guys can hear those birds, I apologize. Yeah, but like I said, I do all my testing on Awanda, and I do all my all my testing and charting on Awanda. So if I get a signal that presents, in this case, excuse me, in this case it has, then I'm going to take it. You can even see over here. So looking at December 2nd, 22, we had the entry present on Awanda. On 8cap, we did not. So, I mean, that's a massive thing when you're back testing as well, guys. You want to make sure you are consistent with the brokerage you trade with and how you do your charting and analysis. The reason I use Awanda chart still is simply because of I use it for my personal account as well. All right, so I was thinking about transitioning over to 8cap, my personal account, because they're an Australian and brokerage. They are regulated, but I just feel like Awanda is where it's at for me. Since I've been with them for the past 3 years, I've never had any issues, great spreads, very competitive, and all that good stuff. All right, so let's get in another order here, guys. We're going to go on NZD JPY. All right, we have our stop loss hanging around all the way up here because that's a big pin to the bottom at 86,651. All right, so copy and paste that into these properties. We are going to drag our take profit all the way out of sight, out of mind, and we are going to change our risk from 1%, well, 2% in this case, to our 0.1. And we're going to open this trade. All right, there we have it. So another trade added in to our overall portfolio. Now, I do have a bit of open risk on the table, which is okay. I'm not too concerned about it. So the open risk we have is obviously NZD JPY. I'll flag that green since we just took the trade. We have US oil, which is 2 now. Open risk. AUD JPY since it's in drawdown, and GU since it's in drawdown. That's 0.4% of my account that has open risk, meaning if the trade does go and hit my stop loss, on all 4 of those trades, it'll be a negative 0.4% drawdown. It will put me in. And this one we're going to close when market opens. All right, so we're going to take a small 0.02% loss on this trade. USD CHF was another one I'm looking at. I can theoretically take it, but I don't like taking on more than 0.5% on my total account without with open risk. And another thing as well with USD CHF, we have high impact CPI news coming out on US dollar, so I don't want to have open risk on USD, GU, and Euro USD. Well, GU and USD, and oil as well. So I'm gonna just keep that one as a miss. I've already got enough trades on. I don't need to just over trade and over leverage myself, even though I'm using super small risk on these trades. I think I'll just keep it there for now. But what I will do, did you guys see Trading View brought out a watch? It's hilarious. I'll mark this up. All right. So let's have a look here. This was our previous trade. And this would be our new trade. So taking the fib trend base from the low to where the signal presented back down gives us a tighter stop loss, still above the 50 EMA, which I like. And it gives us 1R to structure lows. All right, so I guess we'll see how this one plays out. Yeah, we'll definitely see how this one plays out. I feel like you know what? I will put a position on this trade. So USD CHF. The reason I'm saying that, guys, is I'll show you guys in a minute. USD. There it is. All right. So the reason I say that is because looking at this daily close, how it closed lower than all of these pins, right? So this was a strong close in my opinion. Even though it didn't close below the lowest low, it still did before, and it pushed even lower. All right. So I feel like sellers could be stepping in control. This could just be a bit of a relief rally. Coming down to the 4 hour, we actually did put in a new close. All right, so I'm going to take this trade. I do like where the stop loss is on both the daily and the 4 hour. All right, so we're going to put our stop loss all the way up here at 0.9432. All right, and we're going to put our take profit out of sight. I'm going to change our risk to 0.1. I'm going to open that trade as well. All right, guys, so we have a fair few trades on at the minute with open risk. So we got a total of 0.5% open risk open at the minute. So if market goes stupid and crazy and hits my stop loss, not a big loss in the terms of my overall account. But because I only risk 0.01, it still takes a bit of time to get out of that drawdown or back to break even. You know, if I risk 1% or 2% of the account and I got lucky, obviously it's a different story, but I'm not here to gamble. I'm here to follow a strict systematic procedure that I do every single day and try and not deviate from that too much. All right, so this trade was only a $42 trade. There's 0.04% of my account got put on this trade, which is fine. All right, what else have we got here? Yes, wait. So those trades are on. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 active trades going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 active trades. Wait, we got 9 here. NZD 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. No, sorry. Yeah, 8 trades. 8 trades gone. 7. Where's my 8th trade? 1, 2, 3. Let me just check my app so I don't have to keep cross-checking it. So we've got ADJPY. We got Aussie 200 indice. We got Euro NZD. We got USD, Euro USD, GU, NZD JPY, USD CHF, and US oil. So we good. 8 trades. With that being said, guys, let me just quickly manage the trades that are in profit. Ah, yes, NZD JPY. Get rid of that one. All right, so NZD JPY, AD 200. We can manage this trade. All right, so we can move the trail that stop loss a bit higher, just at that 21 on the daily. USD CHF we just re-entered. Euro USD we can trail that to the 21. Bit more in profit. We just got back in that one. And GU still running in a bit of drawdown, so not much trade management can happen there. And Euro USD, well, I'm sure I just did Euro USD. Yeah, I did. I've obviously got 2 charts open. Let me close one. There we go. Sebastian, how you going? Yeah, sweet. So all trades managed. We did enter back into USD CHF. We entered back into US oil, and we entered on a new trade on NZD JPY. All right, so fair bit of open risk. We will see how things play out today. Let me just check Forex factory. So once again, we got no news coming out today. It's all coming out tomorrow on Friday. So today's Thursday here in Australia. We got, yeah. We even got some pound GDP news coming out. All right. So this will all be, I'll be sleeping through all of this. I'll be asleep at 12:30. Goodman, can you look at USDJ? Yes, I can have a look at USDJPY. So the overall, sorry, I got my door open. It's really loud outside. So obviously short term, long term, we are still in a bullish uptrend. So I've just jumped to the weekly chart to get a massive outlook on what's happening. Price has been making higher highs, higher lows, right? We've then come back down and we've tested this level, but we haven't closed below it so far on the weekly, all right? If I bring this over here, we haven't actually had a body close below that level of 130.340. Coming back to the daily with that same analysis, you can see price still putting in higher highs. Short term, this would be a short term downtrend. Now, if you are looking to swing trade or day trade it, obviously looking at the current trend, I think with the most recent price action of price not being able to break below that level, coming back to the 4 hour just to get a bit of a better view. Let's use this level over here. I'm grabbing all that price action in here to that low. All right. So bearish overall on USD JPY. All right. Obviously on the lower time frames, the 4-hour price is putting in these lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And because we couldn't break above this high here, this tells me that we could potentially start to see a range before price breaks out of either the upside or the downside. All right, so if I take this down to the 1 hour, you'll see what I mean. All right, so we could potentially see price. No, we're going back to the 4 hour since it looks a little bit cleaner. All right, so for me, I would be bearish short term. So I think you could definitely see some more move to the downside, especially with what's happening on the lower time frames. All right. If there's any good opportunities to get involved now, not yet. All right. Price is very choppy on the day trading time frame, especially with CPI news coming out. The best view I can put it is on the daily, and everything just points bearish on the daily. But yeah, no really good entries to get involved on the daily chart just yet. Yeah, I would want price to kind of pull back a little bit higher, test this level up here. So I would need price to test this level. I would like to see some type of rejection and then aim lower. No worries, mate. Other than that, guys, I think we are pretty chill with all of the other markets. So I'm going to wrap things up here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And potentially maybe Saturday as well, just so I can recap the CPI news that comes up, like obviously comes out overnight for me. So yeah, hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day, wherever you are. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.